How's it going, everyone? We have a pretty interesting PlayStation Plus related rumor coming from Microsoft and Sony. Call of Duty, we'll talk all about that. We also have a new Share Factory Studio update. Share Factory is a very effective tool if you're just trying to do basic editing and basic recording. It's actually very effective. I'll talk about that. And BluePoint Games may be teasing their next project or an announcement of their next project. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first of all, Call of Duty would come to PlayStation Plus as a part of Microsoft and Sony's 10-year deal. This is according to sources who spoke to Bloomberg that the deal Microsoft had in place for Sony would allow Sony to put Call of Duty games on their PlayStation Plus Extra and PlayStation Plus Premium subscription services. Sony has refused to accept that deal so far, despite it getting approval from both Nintendo and Valve. Now, you guys have to understand something. This, from both Microsoft and Sony standpoint, is posturing. Sony especially wants to do whatever they can to make sure this acquisition and this deal does not go through, because that just heightens the grip and the power that Microsoft has within the industry. Look, Nintendo is kind of on an island on their own. Yeah, you could say that the Switch is a competitor to the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One and the Xbox Series. To an extent it is, but very, very marginal when it comes to the head-to-head competition that exists between Microsoft and PlayStation. Do you guys see the toxicity between Nintendo fans and PlayStation fans engaging in one another on social media that you do between Microsoft fans and Sony fans? Maybe it exists to an extent, but it's nowhere near close. Microsoft and Sony are much more head-to-head competitors than Nintendo is. And Nintendo, while I'm sure they would probably like Activision to be their own entity and not be under the helm of Microsoft, it probably doesn't affect them all too much. For Sony, it absolutely does. Call of Duty is just one piece of the puzzle, and even if Call of Duty is offered to PlayStation and PlayStation Plus, long-term wise, that is still Microsoft controlling one of the most powerful gaming IPs on the planet, and you have to think from Sony's standpoint, they are going to do whatever they can to make sure this deal doesn't go through. That is what this is. There is very little Microsoft can do to actually change Sony's stance on this and change Sony's stance into, yeah, Microsoft, go ahead and acquire Activision. That's going to be best for the entire industry, and maybe in some instances it could be really good for the industry. I'm sure people playing Call of Duty on Game Pass for $10 a month, that's going to be awesome if the deal goes through. But from a Sony standpoint, they care about what's in their best interest, and in their best interest, as of this moment, it is not in their best interest for Microsoft to acquire Activision. It would be one thing if it was like Nintendo acquiring Activision, although that wouldn't happen, but just hypothetically speaking. But Microsoft, their head-to-head direct competitor acquiring Activision, that is a whole different ball game. So as far as the deal on PlayStation, Call of Duty coming to PlayStation Plus, that would be great. I would love to see that. I would love to see every premier title on PlayStation Plus. I think having a subscription service and having those games readily available and accessible to people at a cost of $10, $15 a month, that would be remarkable. And us not having to pay $60 or $70 for a game and just having the option to either spend $60 or $70 or having the option to go the subscription service route, I think that would be fantastic. Now, the argument could be made, long-term, would this deteriorate the quality level of certain titles when developers know, hey, these games are all just going to end up on a subscription service, we're getting paid a lump sum to do this game and make this deal happen? Yeah, I could see that argument. For sure, I could see that argument, but from my standpoint, just in the short term, Game Pass looking like a pretty killer deal, and PlayStation Plus Extra, while it's very, very good, not at the level of Game Pass, given that Plague Tale Requiem day one on Game Pass, like, that's just ridiculous, and some of the offerings on Game Pass are just ridiculous. Extra's really good, don't get me wrong. All the Kingdom Hearts games being on Extra, Judgment, all the Yakuza games, there's a lot to like with PS Plus Extra. But a Game Pass, it is not, at least not at this stage of the game. Alright, moving on from that, new Share Factory Studio update now live on PlayStation 5. This will include enhanced editing, tools, creator packs, and much more. Sony and PlayStation tweeted this out. A new Share Factory Studio update hits PS5 today, featuring 10 creator packs, FIFA 23 game bits, enhanced editing tools, and more. Spice up your best clips with new features available now. Like I said at the top, Share Factory is actually a pretty solid service, all things considered. The fact is, it's just readily available on PS4 and and PS5. I remember back in the day, people were buying their easy capture devices, and it was a pain getting that thing to work on computers just to record your quick scoping montages and whatnot, and doing some horrendous editing on Windows Movie Maker. I know you guys have all been there. Share Factory at least it gives a streamlined tool that allows, kids these days to make their great editing clips and share them on social media and whatnot. So it's actually a fun little tool, and the recording in general on PlayStation, it's pretty darn good. Like on PS5, the recording, the fact that you could just click a button and save an hour of gameplay that you just had, like what? If you told me a decade ago that that would be possible, that's like kind of insane. Like maybe you guys take that stuff for granted, but as somebody that's been trying to record gameplay for a long time now off a console, having things like the Dazzle, having things like I think it was like the AVR video recorder, it was all a pain. The fact that you can now click a button, have a recording, go to your storage device, put in a flash drive, drop it in your flash drive, and then if you do want to edit it on a Windows computer, put it into your Windows computer and just start editing it on Sony Vegas or Adobe Premiere Pro. The fact it's been streamlined to that extent is remarkable to me, and one of the areas I think all platforms have really just excelled on, Microsoft and Sony included. Lastly, I do want to know, BluePoint Games is teasing a new game with a holiday card. It's Happy Holidays from BluePoint Games. What's pictured, you'll see 3 presents that are open. One of them is a sword that is clearly from Shadow of the Colossus. One of them is a shield that I'm pretty sure is the Demon Souls remake, and then the other one is an axe that looks like it's from God of War, and I believe BluePoint did work on the God of War HD collection, and they may have also assisted with God of War Ragnarok, but I know they worked on the HD collection, so that is interesting. And then one present is obviously sealed. Now, if there's a lot to take into this picture, you would assume that this game would be revealed by the 25th. We're getting kind of close there. I don't really know if this is a great time to be revealing a brand new game, and BluePoint, whatever they're working on next, is probably going to be pretty marquee, so who knows if it will be coming by Christmas Day, or maybe it'll be something that they'll leave in the new year. I mean, it is just Happy Holidays, but they have a Christmas tree pictured, so take that for what you will. But BluePoint, man, there's a lot of things people want from them. I know I've been like drumming home Legend of Dragoon Remake, guys. I don't want you to get excited about that. That's a pipe dream. That is not gonna happen. Like, that's just such out of left field thinking. Like, when they have opportunities to do things like working out a deal to get a Metal Gear Solid remake done, or a plethora of other games that are gonna be way more marquee than Legend of the frickin' Dragoon, they're gonna go that route, so take that for what you will. But yeah, BluePoint, one of the star developers in recent years as far as delivering high-quality remakes, remasters, all that good stuff. But that is going to do it for me. As far as Call of Duty goes, that PS Plus deal, it's all posturing. Sony does not want this deal to go through, no matter what, or very little, actually. I shouldn't say no matter what. There's always something, but very little chance that Sony is ever going to say, okay, yeah, Microsoft, do this. It's in our best interest. Just keep that in mind. New Share Factory Studio update is live right now, and BluePoint Games might be revealing something here relatively shortly. At least that is looking to be teased. That'll do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.